Hey everyone, it's Brady from BGWX, and tonight I'm doing the YouTube discussion on our upcoming winter storm threat for Saturday. So we have something on the table, and we're gonna look in depth here at all the possible scenarios and what's going on with all the models right now. What and what can you believe? What can't you believe? We're still pretty far out. We're about 4.5 days out, but this is a pretty promising storm signal, so I think it's about right that I start talking about this on my YouTube channel. So, without further ado, let's get started. Um, Nice little surprise for me tonight. I'm already over an inch of snow as I speak, and it's currently, it's almost a heavier snow because I've got almost an inch in the last hour. So, nice little surprise for me. Also, I'll take it for tonight. But the real storm we want to talk about is Saturday. That is what has everybody's attention right now. So that's what we're going to talk about it. I'm not gonna sit here and just talk about the meaningless little snow that I hope gives me 2 inches tonight, but that's just me. So what we're looking at here, this is a complex setup. Anytime you have a phase, you're looking for a storm that's gonna phase. You're gonna have multiple moving parts that are gonna make this complex, and it's gonna make uh, model shift sensitivity very high. So don't expect models to stay consistent in one solution consistently for 4 days. Okay, this is not the same as last Monday or whenever that was, the big storm that put 2 feet in Buffalo. Okay, this is not exactly that storm. It's a different setup we're looking at. Right, the phase had already happened, and then we were looking at kind of a secondary phase for a piece. That was a more complicated setup. Well, this is complicated in different ways, but that was a different kind of setup. That's the point. This is a more classic phase we're looking at. So we have our pieces coming down from the north. So again, I'm gonna go back here, go back to the pen book. I don't have a pen tool, but this is the best I have. So this is boom. We have our northern stream interaction right here. Can we make this thicker, please? No, just a little bit. Whatever. That's fine. Hopefully you can see it. So this is our north stream I pointed out, right? This is going to end up being our southern vort right here. And we're looking for the complexity of this is our stream interaction between our southern vort and our northern stream right here. How these interact is key. So what we've been watching for tonight is the more these, come on, erase, you can do it. You can do it. Go, there we go. Come on, one more, you can do it. Oh my god. There we go. That was a little embarrassing, but we're good. What we've been watching tonight is a lot. This vort has been digging back a little bit too much in some of the models, and this prevents a stream interaction between our northern piece right here. So this has been pushing a little bit farther this way, and not allowing as good as a stream interaction with our southern vort right here. And this delays our phase eventually. So once we get, boom, we'll just slide over to 2. So we slide over to 2, you can see here, boom, right? This is our new run. So notice the difference here. I'll go back to 1. This piece is a little bit pushed more to the west. Our piece to the north is a little bit, it's not quite as connected. We go back to picture number 2. Notice our stream interaction right here is a little bit better. This is pushed a little bit more this way. Right, so now we have this piece this here, instead it was, a little bit more like this in the run before. Maybe not that far exaggeration, but you get what I see. And this prevented a little bit less of a stream prevented a little bit more of a strain interaction that we have on this run. Now, again, this was not some of the 12Z and 060 models, the GFS. Today we're trying to suggest maybe a more interior setup, but and again, we still don't have a final solution. But we're putting our pieces together right now. So these are some of the things we're watching for. We have a ridge, big ridge out here to the west that's going to try to push this way. That's what makes me a little bit hesitant, when I see some of these models that want to push this all the way this way. So I think there's definitely there's some room to push, your snowfall shield from here to here, or maybe not that much, but just to be able to push it a little bit more to the west. There's plenty of room still to do that based on the current GFS even. There we go. That was easier. So we're right now we're still in a waiting stage technically because we're still waiting for things to be sampled, coming down from the illusions, but we're getting closer into range. It's we have a very possible storm threat currently. I'm not going to say this is going to be an all-out blizzard right now. I can't make that prediction because I don't want to make a forecast. I don't have to if this goes south. But this looks very promising. For the potential for a blockbuster snowstorm. And I'll get into those a little bit more specific details later in terms of location and timing. But for now, let me just go through some of the model run analysis and what we're looking at. So eventually, that is not what I thought I had. Hold up. No, go back. I don't know what happened to that image. Do we have it back? Alright, well, we've moved on from that image at this point, so it doesn't matter too much. But here, now, if I slide the run forward a little bit more, this is where we have our trough. Right now, it's getting pretty, we can see our trough is tilted much more negative at this point than it was earlier. Earlier in the run, I should say. And this thing's getting ready to eject. The problem is, or it is ejecting, but the problem is our trough is a little bit too progressive here. So this is overall, for 4 days, a little bit low in battery, that's fine. Overall, this is a pretty good look. 4.5 days out, just in general. For an East Coast snowstorm, particularly a New England snowstorm. It's a pretty good look in the trough. Again, model bias, a lot of convection out here, preventing low consolidation to happen more inside here. That's just a model bias. That's what happens. Typically, the low would be a little bit more. The SLP, the surface low pressure, would be a little bit farther than what the model suggested. But again, we're still a little bit far out to get in some of those more specific details. But that's fine. But if I compare this to the next run, then no, we don't want to do that. No. Boom. If I get it here, you can see this trough is a little bit more slowed down. We're able to dig this a little bit deeper and slow down. It's pushed a little bit more west compared to this run, where you can see it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit faster, the trough is, and it's already pushing the preset past our area of interest right here, and it ends up being a big bomb in Maine. Now, the 0Z run is still a big bomb in Maine, and that's primarily what it is. But it's also a pretty big storm in eastern New England as well. And based on the look at 500, I'd argue that this would be a pretty big storm all the way back into here, in my opinion, based on the look at 500. But that's specific details that we don't need to get too much into right now. But we continue. So here's the evolution of the run. I don't know what's happening with my... I thought I had stuff down. This is not good. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now we're talking. Bear with me here. But again, as I mentioned, so this is a little bit too late of a look. This is a big bomb right here in Maine. Big bomb in this run. Not here. It's a big run for Maine right there in this run. But if I slide to the 0Z, and let me explain more a little bit, because I just kind of just showed you. Right, this is where our UL is right here, upper level low. That's what you look for. Always follow the upper level low when you're looking for your snowstorm. Right, this is our phase. Our phase is pretty much has happened at this point, and we're looking at the our snowstorm that's really pushing big time heavy snow totals into Maine. This is this particular run. This is what it was showing, the 18Z, and I'll show you the difference to 0Z. Get this out of here. Now 0Z, we can see the ULL is a little bit more consolidated, and we're pushing this a little bit further southwest. This is our right here. Boom, no. A little bit more southwest with the ULL, and at that point we get more of a snowstorm back into here in this run. Now it's still not perfect. It doesn't get, it doesn't get these. That's oof, no. It doesn't get these areas quite. Doesn't get these areas quite into the snowstorm, but this is, again, we're 4.5 days out. We're not really too focused on where the snow shield cuts off and where the 10-to-1 snowfall totals are this far out. So there's a lot of details to unfold here, but we're still pretty far out. This is the euro, right? This is your euro at this point, and that's where your no, not that one. We want boom. And that's where your GFS is, and that's where your euro is. So at the euro, we have a little bit better stream interaction. It's not all too different from the GFS run, but we can see we have a little bit more stream interaction here. This piece is a little bit more connected. Our southern vort is more connected to our northern stream right here, and this is going to allow for a little bit cleaner of a phase and for this to happen a little bit further west and southwest in terms of location of where your bigger snowfall totals are in this specific run. Right, we have a ridge out to the west right here. Boom, this is the flow right there. That's your flow. Now, that's not exactly, but I'm just trying to point out that's the synoptic setup that we have here. Sorry, I butcher words, but I try to speak fast, and my thoughts always go ahead of what I'm trying to say. So sometimes I slur some of my speech, but bear with me. Again, I'm just trying to point out some of the different things we're looking at on here. Boom, let's slide this the next one down. This is our run. Nope, don't want that. Okay. Here we go. So at this point, we compare. This is your euro. That's your GFS. And then that's your euro. See, this is I don't think that's the exact timestamp, but the point is we're able to dig this a little bit further down this trough, where we're able to get this phase in a cleaner phase to happen. Phasing is messy. It does not always go smooth. Still a little bit of bias here with this convection off to the east there. But as you can see, this is, well, typically you see this and your surface low would come, right up here. That's probably where your surface low would go, and it's pretty similar in that run to where it goes. But again, I would assume a surface low would go a little bit further west than just what the euro had, just in terms of how the phasing would probably end up and where the UL would stack up. But again, that's more of a more specific detail that's not all that important at this point. But I'm just trying to detail some of the different things on the model runs. So if I progress this a little bit further, we can see at this point, nope, I don't know what is going on with this tonight. This was much smoother last time I did this for the Carolina snowstorm. But we got here, at this point, this is your difference in the GFS. You have a stacked upper level low, surface low, and 700 low, and it's just bombed out at this point. We're talking sub 970, sub 960 in this specific run in terms of the surface low. And we have a pretty beautiful phase and a snowstorm that is probably fairly extensive at this point. Maybe not quite that far, but it's a pretty big snowstorm. NYC gets into the action here for a pretty big snowstorm. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, they all get hammered. Boston, Worcester, Hartford, Providence, they all get hammered in this run specifically. But I preface this by saying we're 4.5 days out. This was 5 days out when this model run came out, so we are still a good deals away. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen exactly like this. Doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean it won't exactly happen like this. It's highly unlikely that it ever happens exactly how it shows 4.5 days out. But we have a lot of details that we still have to scour and find, because there's a lot of hidden stuff on this picture that comes up. But this is pretty classic for an East Coast snowstorm. This flow right here is exactly what you look for when you're talking about a blockbuster snowstorm. We don't have a classic negative NAO up here. We don't have the Greenland block. We still have a decent block. This ridge to the west is going to help prevent this from trying to go too much this way. And we also have a ridge that's further to the east, that's off the picture, not specifically there, that's further to the east. That's going to try to prevent it from coming too far out to sea. So there's the good things about this setup. Some of the bad things is, well, technically, if I erase all these, you can over amplify, and you get the phase to happen a little bit too early. You get this to happen, you get your upper level low to set up, over Long Island. This gets mixing issues well into here, and then your snowstorm, goes into, it's more there instead of more here. So that's one concern. I know it's a little messy, but go with me. Oh, get that thing too. Another concern is, again, as I mentioned, go back here, this piece does not catch up to this piece, your northern stream. This lags behind. This goes forward. Your phase happens too late. And eastern Maine and Nova Scotia get a snowstorm. And maybe Cape Cod gets moderate snowstorm. That's where this can go wrong. And your phase happens too late. It doesn't go right. You have to thread the needle a little bit situation, but we've gotten closer to the point where the needle to be thread is not as large as it had to be a couple days ago, which is the good news. And again, we don't have a classic negative NAO in place, but we have a really good flow, right? This is your classic East Coast snowstorm flow. That's exactly what you want to see. We have pretty good ensemble support, and we also, the operational runs are fairly good right now. I think the best, maybe your failsafe is Maine. Your failsafe is Maine right now, I would say. And I would say, New England is not a failsafe, but New England's a pretty good bet. In terms of, for the different scenarios, if someone's going to get hit by a snowstorm, again, doesn't mean you're going to get hit, but in terms of possibilities, if this is going to hit somewhere, New England's a pretty good bet. Now, that's not to say you get your ULL to get up a little bit more in here, then this becomes where your snowstorm happens. And your precip shield then goes back into here. But based on the synoptic setup, again, bear with me while I butcher words here and sound very smart. But I think this is probably one of your best shots. Probably the best area to get snow. The more higher in latitude you go, the best shot you have to maximize the snow potential for sure. So down into here, you'll have snow potential, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to maximize your snow potential here. Anywhere really on the eastern seaboard is able to get into something.